Today we're continuing in John's Gospel, John chapter 10, verse 11 to 21. And we start our reading with Jesus making a powerful statement about himself. Jesus says, "I am the good shepherd." It's one of the 7 I am sayings of John's Gospel. And if you remember, in the Greek language, for those naturally multilingual first hearers of Jesus, I am was actually quite an unusual turn of phrase. In Greek, it's ego eimi, the recorded words of Yahweh at the burning bush. Moses says in Exodus, "Who shall I say has sent me?" And God speaks from the burning bush and says, I am, in Hebrew. But then when the Hebrew scriptures were translated into Greek, the Septuagint, 300 years before Jesus' birth, that's how they translated that divine name, I am, ego eimi, the words that Jesus is using to describe himself. He is the God of the burning bush, Yahweh. And today Jesus says, I am the good shepherd. Now it's part of a wider section, Jesus teaching followers and Pharisees about the relationship between sheep and shepherd. And a very common metaphor, picture, idea in the Old Testament was that God was the shepherd and Israel were his flock, the sheep of his pasture. So Jesus is redefining what it means to belong to God. That you're not part of God's flock because of birthright, but rather because you hear his voice, you know his voice, you follow his lead. And again, it clearly reveals Jesus as the God of the Old Testament, which is why some of them claim, listen to him, he's raving mad, he's demon possessed. Who on earth would say such a thing? So what does it mean that Jesus is our good shepherd? Well, it means, as we've read, that he will never abandon you, even when the wolf attacks. Rather, he will defend you and protect you. And that shepherding is even to the point of death. Jesus says, I'm going to lay down my life for my sheep. Notice Jesus prophesies, no one's going to take it from me. He says, I lay it down. I surrender it. And notice also that in the same way that the Father has given the Son authority to lay his life down on behalf of the sheep, to die as a sacrifice on behalf of the sheep, the Father has also given the Son authority to take his life up again. So not only does Jesus foretell his sacrificial death, but also he prophesies his glorious triumphant resurrection. Finally, Jesus speaks of his plan to bring sheep from outside of the pen into his pen. Jesus is saying that although he is here to reach the Jewish people, he's not going to do that exclusively. His death will be for the non-Jew too, for the Gentile too, for all people. So when Jesus spoke these words, he was talking about you and me. That there would be one flock and one shepherd over all. I'm aware that many of us work and serve pastorally. We have a shepherding role in society, maybe as a school teacher, in healthcare, as a parent, that's a shepherding role, maybe a missional community leader. Maybe we just want to seek to love and serve and shelter those around us. Now, some are specifically gifted to pastor, but all of us are called to be like Jesus, our good shepherd. So I pray today that you might shepherd those around us as Jesus shepherds us, his people. Verse 13, don't run away and hide even if you feel like it, but rather allow your shepherding to express itself in boldness. And let's shepherd those who don't yet know Jesus into his fold, that they too can come under his care and protection. Amen.